Harry, how does it feel to be back? Because it's been maybe way too long for you as well.
It feels like a long time, yeah, to be honest. So good to be talking about new music again, and to be thinking about some touring again in the distant, well, feels like still quite far away, but next year we're going to be back on tour again, which is going to be so amazing. We just can't wait to be back. Yeah.
I love it how everything is announced just in one. There is a new song, there's a new album coming up, there's a massive Europe tour coming as well.
Yeah, we were busy over the lockdown. It felt like we'd just disappeared, but we had lots of things going on. So yeah, we're just really pleased that we can come back with it all together. Yeah.
Was there more time now to be in the studio than normal for you guys?
Yeah, there was actually. When we went into the studio the first time, which was in like September time last year, we thought that we were recording the album with a bit of a deadline, you know, because we had a tour at that time. We had a tour booked for spring this year, but then that got pushed back again, and so we just found ourselves with like a spare 6 months. So we actually we did like a whole load more writing and went back into the studio and recorded like another 4 or 5 songs. So yeah, it's like the album's kind of made in 2 halves. We've never really done that before, and but we feel very fortunate in a way to have had that time, you know, to really get a good album together. So I think all the songs on there are really killer. Can't wait.
But that's interesting because you mentioned that you were in the studio last September, so that would have been in a whole different album then, or?
Yeah, probably. Well, yeah, and had it not been for coronavirus, we'd have probably made 2 records.
Wow, you guys are always so busy with touring and making new music, but touring as well. How was it to be not on tour for 1.5 years?
Oh, I don't even know how to describe it really. It feels like like I've been so incredibly bored at times just being at home, but then at the same time it feels like that time has just gone in no time. Like it's just like a lost year, you know, or a lost year and a half. So but you know, I'm a person actually who does like to spend a lot of time on my own, and I'm okay with that. So I quite enjoy parts of the lockdown, just being here with my wife and my dog. So yeah.
Did you learn something new? Maybe gardening or cooking? Are you good at making banana bread at the moment?
I was actually an all right cook before the lockdown started. I think I've cooked less over the lockdown actually.
Oh wow!
Yeah, because I just got so bored of my own cooking, I started ordering takeaways all the time. But yeah, no. What have I did a lot of gardening actually in the first lockdown, and like I got a really good lawn going, which I feel it makes me feel like such an old man. I'd never thought I'd say those words, but like getting all like the fertilizer on it and everything and making it really green and lush. It was like my pride and joy. I love that lawn. And then we did some building work on the house and the whole lawn was destroyed. So the garden's rubble again.
There is a new song. It's been released yesterday. I'll play it now on KINK, and in a minute I would love to talk to you about the album and upcoming stuff, if that's okay.
Yeah, pleasure. Yeah.
The Nieuwe White Lies on KINK. It's the title track of this album. Was it always the plan to start with this song being released at first?
I think from pretty early on when we were recording, like when we first went to the studio. In fact, maybe even when we were listening to the demos before we'd even recorded them, we thought that it was a song that had potential to be a big single, you know. I think it's definitely like one of the poppiest songs production-wise that we've ever done. Like there's not so many big rock guitars. It's much more restrained and sort of sparse and synthy. But I love this track. I think it's a great introduction to the album, and hopefully there's a few more moments like that for people to expect on the record as well.
Was this a starting point as well for this album, this track, or which song was made first? What was the starting point?
The start of recording was actually a bit chaotic in a way, because we had so much material. Like it's the first time we've made an album where Charles and I have kind of worked separately on things because of the lockdown, and brought a whole load of songs into the studio, and we just had to try and tackle them all at once and see which ones were going to work. So it was all kind of a bit chaotic, but then a few kind of quickly start to float to the surface, you know, and this song was definitely one of them. Yeah.
Are there songs that you make, Harry and Charles, which are combined in the studio process? Maybe parts of song you made and he?
Yeah, for sure. And like, because we did it also after that first, as I said before, we did the recording in kind of 2 parts. Like on the second part, we did much more of that. So like when we went into write together again, there were definitely bits of songs that we'd brought with us, kind of thing. You know, like the song didn't make it, but I really like this bit, like the verse, or I really like the chorus, or the intro or something. And then you'll just start with that and try and write a whole new song. And that was really fun too. That was very different to the first session. So it's kind of an album of 2 halves, I guess.
I'm looking forward to hear the whole album because this song already is so good. But the artwork and all the stuff around it as well, all the new merch. Who did this? The album cover.
So that was actually a lovely lady called Annalise who works for our label, PS. And it was a long process, I'd say. Like, we went through a lot of different combinations of things, different designs, until we finally honed in on that one. And once we had the idea, once we'd seen that layout with the flags and that spacing, we knew that would work. So it was just a matter of choosing colors. And actually, we had so many different color options that we could have chosen. So maybe people have to look out for those in the future, perhaps. But yeah. So it was just a process, like a long process of elimination, basically. But the label and Annalise were very patient with us, and we got there in the end. So we're really pleased with it. Yeah, I think it looks
There was even more time for this as well now.
Yeah, absolutely.
The song is out now. What could you tell me about the backstory of this song?
Well, whatever I tell you will be my own opinion, really, because Charles writes all of the lyrics for our songs. But to me, it feels like when you've had a rough day in a relationship with someone and you're sort of back at home and you're talking to yourself, like you're going through all of the things that you need to do maybe to stop yourself just from becoming a total mess, and having those kind of really difficult conversations with yourself. That's what it's about to me. That's what the song feels to me that it's about. So, but if you wanted the real answer, you'd have to ask Charles.
But I think a lot of people discovered this in the last year while being in lockdown, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, everyone's had those moments, I think. Yeah, especially in the house,
Of course, yeah. There's coming up a massive tour as well in Europe. You're going to do 4 shows in the Netherlands. And we love you over here in the White Lies and Netherlands combination is always a good one, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we love coming back to the Netherlands, to be honest. We've always had amazing support and we've always been able to play great shows. So we feel very fortunate. And plus the venues in the Netherlands are really top notch. Yeah, like I think a lot of bands in the Netherlands would be shocked to come and play in the UK and see how bad some of the venues are. So it's always a pleasure for us to play there. We can't wait to come back.
What is the best one you played with the band?
I mean, I love Paradiso in Amsterdam. That's a classic. I think every band that tours a lot in Europe would mention that venue. It's always special to play there. But honestly, all over, we played great venues in Eindhoven, in Groningen, in Rotterdam, in The Hague, like everywhere. And they're all kind of similar, modern, and very comfortable with nice dressing rooms and a good stage. So it's always a pleasure to tour there. You don't know how lucky you are.
Next year, White Lies is back with a new album, a whole tour. Harry, thanks for joining me today.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Great to talk to you.
And I just played the new song on the radio. Now you have to pick a classic White Lies tune to end this interview to play now.
Oh, gosh. Okay. If I'm going to go classic, then let's say There Goes Our Love Again, which is from our...
I love it.
From our third album. We haven't... I haven't listened to that song for a long time, actually, but it just popped into my head then, and it's great. So I hope you enjoy.